Not gonna lie to you. Having just clicked record, I don't know if
you're
you clicked
eating.
record as well. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
eating.
I'm not surprised.
Well, I wasn't eating, and I literally clicked record, reached for some food, and put it in my mouth.
Do you want me to tell you the Piers dumbass story while you eat then?
I think that would be wise because I'm
Okay.
not gonna lie to you. This could take longer to deal with than I thought it would.
So basically,
Also, hi, welcome back to the
hi,
podcast.
but yeah, I was like, I don't know if I just do that solo, like, hi guys, welcome back.
I mean,
Chris.
try it. Go solo. See how it goes.
Okay.
Go on.
Hi guys, it's been a week. Chris is eating food, so I am here to welcome you guys back to the podcast before he dies. I almost killed Chris last night, actually.
Don't make me laugh while I'm eating. I'll die.
Okay, I won't talk about the B movie then.
We'll come back to the B movie, okay? Circle back.
Okay, so I said to Chris just now I would tell you guys a story about Piers being a dumbass while Chris eats. So, and there's a fucking fly in the room that's gonna piss me off. Basically, as I've probably mentioned a billion times by now, this is gonna be a fucking mess already. I can tell it's gonna be one of those podcasts. Yeah, so as I've mentioned a billion times already, we've got a little electric car. Woo. However, as I think I've mentioned before, it only has a short distance. It has a short range on it, right? And a few days ago, Piers won a bid for some really expensive speakers, and he got a really good deal. But they're in the Isle of Dogs in Greenwich.
Yeah.
So other side of London, and the good thing about having electric cars, you can drive straight through London with no charges. So that was great.
Yes, you can.
So we drive there, which was relatively unproblematic. We did witness someone get pulled over by the police because, oh yeah, side story. This guy, young lad, has got his child who's in school uniform. She must be about 5, I want to say. In the front seat of his zooped up Audi, like an expensive Audi, with spoilers and all sorts. She sat in the front without a car seat, and she's, and you're like, I'm pretty sure you're not meant to sit in the front under the age of 12, or unless you're over a certain height, and especially not without a car seat. Yeah. So that was interesting. So basically, the police come down the road that we're on, and I'm saying, Piers, you need to pull out, like, the police car, you're going to have to pull over. And so Piers, like, pulls over, and there's enough space for the police to get past us, but they don't. And we're, like, thinking, you've got, like, you can get round us, like, why aren't you? Anyway, it was because they were pulling up the guy next to us with the girl in the front seat, and we were just like, oh shit, this is really awkward. We're like driving past as this kid looks like absolutely horrified that her dad's now having to talk to the police.
Jesus.
So that was slightly awkward. Anyway.
So you were just sat next to this car, staring at this child.
Yeah, it was. I felt so bad for her, but then we were chatting about it, and we're like, oh, I'm kind of glad he got pulled over, because if he was in an accident, I bet he didn't turn off the airbags either. He could have killed her. So
Welcome to the World to Rights podcast, keeping it light.
Yeah, it's killing small children, nice and light.
This is why you should keep them on a leash. That's what I'm saying.
Keep them on a leash.
Keep them on a leash.
The thing was, I don't know, like, he could have been pulled over for something completely different, but I'm hoping it was for that. Anyway, we get the speakers. We're on the way back. I said to Piers, like, oh, let's charge the car on the way back and get some food. And we go get some food, and we only took about 10 minutes or something. So the car had barely charged, and it was on one of the slow chargers instead of one of the fast chargers. And I said to Piers, I said, let's wait. Let's wait for a little while and just see it for, like, to make sure it has an extra 10 miles or something, and then we can go. And he goes, no, we'll be fine. I was like, Piers, I really don't think we'll be fine. He goes, yes, we will. I said to him, well, if we're not, I'm going to moan at you for a month. So
Please tell me he didn't take those odds. Please tell me he didn't take those odds.
he took the odds. He was
Oh,
like,
fucking idiot.
he goes, okay, well, I'm confident we'll make it there. So unplug
Why
his
is
car.
that the moment where he found confidence?
I don't fucking know. And like, I have a rule. This is just me being like an anxious person. But when I drive the car
Imagine that.
somewhere, I always check that I have double the amount of miles that I need, because
Very good.
scared that if I got stuck in traffic or whatever, like I was told by Steve that you can't tow an electric car. I have no idea if that's true or not, but just the idea of having to break down for them to not be able to do anything, and for some guy to be like, well, you should have charged your car then. Like, that's just the most mortifying like image in my head. So I was like, I'm not doing that. But anyway, I was like, okay, well, Piers, if you're confident, we can do that. And I said it, but the whole time my heart was pounding. I was like, we're definitely not gonna make it. We're definitely not gonna make it. Piers is finding it hysterical, so he's winding me up about it. And he just was laughing his head off. He's like, Kat, you've got to stop looking so concerned. Like, we're going to be fine. You've got to stop. We immediately took the wrong exit off of the roundabout, and drove a couple of miles.
Was that just for the fun? You just thought maybe you'd swing it around and see what happens?
Why not? Well, Piers says, like, oh, I didn't know which exit either. But to be honest, I wasn't really paying attention. And then he pulls over and he goes, oh, I think it's this exit. What do you think? And I said, yeah, maybe, yeah.
Oh, he got buy-in. He got buy-in, so you couldn't moan at him if it was wrong.
Exactly. So...
Oh, you God.
Went the wrong way, came back, and it wasn't like a huge detour, but it was still like, you know, a couple of... there was a few miles there and back to turn around sort of thing. Anyway, on the way back, I'm like, we need to pull over. We need to pull over and just charge. I've got to the point where I'm like, no, this is not funny anymore. We've got like 9... I think we had something like 9 miles left to go, and we had 9 miles on the clock. And I was like, nah, we're not making it.
God.
And so we go to pull up at this charging point on the way home, and somebody was using it, and they'd only just plugged in their car. And so
what you did is went over there, unplugged it, plugged your own one in, and went, fuck you.
You know, you can actually do that. You can cancel someone's... You can hit the emergency stop button, and it's so tempting sometimes. Haven't done it yet.
Can you imagine?
It'd
you
be
come back
so
to your
awkward.
car and someone's just jacked the power supply from you.
You'd be so pissed. I'd be so angry if someone did that to me.
You've been in the shopping centre, you've been like, oh, I'll spend a couple of hours here because I'll get a couple of hours charged. You come back and you realise that 10 minutes in, some dickhead next to you's jacked. Oh my God. Brilliant.
Yeah. I was tempted though at this point because I'd had enough, and then so this charging place, I was looking at Piers like, he's not gonna want to stay here for half an hour while someone charges the car. She's like, don't worry, we'll make it. I'm pretty much hyperventilating at this point. Like, if I wasn't laughing, I would have been crying, because I was sort of laughing at myself by being anxious, because I was thinking, well, you know, at the end of the day, what can we do? There's not a lot of options now. So we ended up the miles. So when you get to a certain point, it goes low battery, and then it doesn't tell you how many miles you have left. It goes blank.
Oh, that's cheeky.
And so you're there like, you could just stop at any point, and it's completely pitch black at this point. And so we're like, fuck. No, we've got no heating on. We're trying to keep the lights down to a minimum.
Oh my God.
And we've realised that Jim, Pierce's godfather's house, is a couple of miles closer to us than our place is.
Mm-hmm.
So we were just like, let's just get to Jim's. Issue with Jim's house is it's like up and down a load of hills.
Oh, God.
We're hoping. So we were just like, okay, put your foot down going up the hill, and then just
cruise down the hill.
cruise down it, hopefully recharge the car on the way down. We made it to Jim's. I do not know how. Thankfully, Jim was in and he let us charge the car there, so it was fine. But Piers then goes, "Oh, we could have made it back to ours." I was like, "How the fuck do you know that?" It was quite a funny experience. It wasn't. Piers found it funny. I did not.
I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like you've lost some of your ability to moan at him because he got buy-in from you on that roundabout. What you should have done is said, "No, this is your mess. You fix it." And then you would have still had. What you've done now is you lost your bargaining chip.
Exactly, because now he says, "Well, you thought it was the right exit as well."
Exactly.
And we would have made it home if we didn't have the detour.
Exactly. So he's played it very well. This is a very well played card from him. I feel like I'm in a court case all of a sudden, but I feel like he knew what he was doing. He played it well, and now you've been dragged down to his level.
Do you know what the best bit was as well? We just got food. I think we'd got we got a Burger King meal. So we got a Burger King meal, in London, and then we were like, okay, we'll eat it in the car or something. But then I was too anxious to eat, so I didn't eat mine. Piers was going to eat when he got home. And then when we stopped at Jim's, I was like, well, I can't eat my food now because we're at someone's house, and that'd be really like rude to just be like, "Oh yeah, let me charge my car."
Pull out your Burger King, yeah, alright, fair.
So then, like, I had to wait however long to then eat my cold. I put it in the microwave, but you know, you're like, because it's vegetarian, so it's not like before anyone goes.
Were you at Jim's waiting for us to charge?
Oh, we got Steve to pick us up, and we just left the car there overnight because we weren't.
You're like, Jim, it's yours now. It's your problem.
Yeah,
I'm done
basically.
with the car. Do you regret not jacking the power supply from that other person?
I actually do, because fuck these people with like 300 miles on their cars.
Exactly. They've got no need for it, have they?
Yeah.
You should be able to see. You should be able to go up to it and it's like, how much longer has this person got? 300 miles. And you're like, right, for the greater good here, I'm disconnecting your car. You're just going to have to stop somewhere later on. I need this because I've got like 2 miles left. Fuck you. Thanks very much. Piers really chose his moment to be confident there, you know?
Legit. Piers?
Yeah?
He's just walked in. Come here a second.
Hey, Chrissy.
Oh, hi. How's it going?
Yeah, all right, Chrissy. What's going?
Well, I hear that you, for some reason, decided that you developed some confidence and try and drive your electric car without enough miles on the clock.
Oh, no. She didn't tell you that. Oh,
She just told me the story. So, like, what happened? Why didn't you just... Why did you suddenly find confidence? That was not the time.
So we had how far?
9 miles left on the clock.
No. Hold on. Before that, when we went actually to set off in the first place,
we had like 35 miles or whatever.
Yeah, we had 35 miles, which was enough to get home. But as we took off, no, it was enough to get home. But we went the wrong way, and both of us went the wrong way. We went, this is the way.
Don't worry, I've heard about the wrong way. I've heard about your little. I mean, can I say congratulations on getting buy-in on the roundabout there? By saying, do you think it's this one? You basically managed to stop her ever moaning at you for it.
I was really trying. I needed something to double down on, to be honest with you, Chris. I knew I was way off in the wrong somewhere, and I thought, I need something. So I reached out for any little thing that happened along there. I was like,
I'm
right,
proud
that's
of you.
it.
It was good work. Good
work.
work.
I know. I took effort and determination.
You were laughing so much at me that whole way back. I thought you were going to piss yourself.
Well, because there was that charger on the way back, but it's just...
someone was using it.
Yeah, I've already said that you should have jacked the power supply.
Do your impression of me when I was in the car.
No, because it's mean.
I don't mind. I'm giving you permission.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. It went down a mile! It went down a mile! Life is a lie. Who shot JR? You know, I mean, this is what we're kind of talking about. You know, it was this kind of...
Why are you shouting, by the way? The microphone's right there. You're going to kill
Because that's
Chris.
what you were like. I'm only going to do it truthfully.
I like how you got Who Shot JR in there just for the... Just, who's going to get that reference? Oh, God.
Well, it was better than the who killed, what was it, Hoffa? What was it, Hoffa?
Who's Hoffa?
I can't. He was the leader of a union, but you see, that's a reference that Jimmy Hoffa. There we go. Sorry, I forgot Jimmy Hoffa. He was a leader of a American Working Men's Union. It was a very big deal.
Okay.
But they don't know where he is. Anyway, these are the kind of references I have.
I love them. I love them. I want more of them. Oh my God, these are brilliant.
So yeah, I'm going to leave it there, Chrissy. To be honest with you, we'll have to get something else together soon, and plan something.
It's the podcast.
Yeah.
Right now.
Oh, it's on the podcast. I'm so sorry. Hello, people.
No,
Bye-bye,
I'll just
people.
edit this out. I'm fine. I'm chill about it.
Oh, good. Okay. All right, Chrissy.
worry.
I'm not just sat chatting to Chris using a full-blown microphone to just have a chit-chat with him.
Well, we're fancy men. I felt like
Yeah, we are.
that's
we
quite
are.
a fancy way to express ourselves.
True.
Headphones.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Bye, Chrissy.
Oh my God, see you later. I was quite enjoying it, to be honest. I could have sat here and had a conversation. How do you feel about that impression? How do you feel that was
It was pretty
feel that
accurate.
was accurate?
To be fair.
It was accurate, yeah, okay,
it was pretty. I mean,
Yeah.
It was less shouting, more panicking, I think.
Yeah. No, I
you
could
know.
actually imagine you. If I closed my eyes, I could see you. Like it just worked somehow. Maybe like slightly less shouting, but still the same.
I was like clutching at any part of the car that I could just, yeah. Well, the thing is, we were on the motorway, so it wasn't like if we broke down, it's not like we're on like a single track lane where barely any cars go. We were in a fucking dangerous situation. But yeah, that was a fun one.
What a time to be like. Well, I mean, for one, I think that honestly, we should like set up your car to like. We should like record more of your car journeys because I just feel like none of them go as smoothly as they could. You know,
No.
like I have a
No.
dash cam in my car that like I keep threatening to because people always like, oh, you're
Expose
really
yourself.
nice, and I keep threatening to be like, if you saw me when I was driving, you'd never say that again. I think the problem is that I'd have to somehow. I mean, you gotta bear in mind that maybe 80% of the time, it's me listening to music quite loud and singing quite badly. And the rest of the 20% of the time is that, but then interspersed with, you fucker, what are you doing? Get the fuck out of that lane. And then carrying on, fine. Right, it's like, speed the fuck up. Press your foot to the fucking accelerator. Push it down. Use your speed, you dickhead. And then back to singing. So it's like lots of that, and it just kind of like it would really shatter the kind of image I had.
Have you seen the picture I just sent you of? Oh wait, I didn't send it. I just put it in the chat.
You
There
haven't
we go.
sent it.
It's gone. Imagine seeing that. Like, obviously, we know.
No. When
what
I
that
drove
is.
towards that and see something like that without being prepared,
You're
I'm
like,
like,
nope.
well, this is it. This is how I die. This is how it all ends for us.
It just imagine seeing that as a road safety. Put that in the fucking theory test. What the fuck are you meant to do when you see that? That is not.
Exactly.
It makes no sense.
That's the thing. And once you get there and you're like, okay, right, I'll just calm down.
You just treat
It'll
it
be
as
fine.
as like lots of mini roundabouts. I think,
Exactly.
but we're from Milton Keynes. People who don't do roundabouts, who then have to
Don't talk
face
to me about
that.
people who come into Milton. Milton Keynes drivers are notoriously terrible. However, the only thing worse than Milton Keynes drivers is non-Milton Keynes drivers in Milton Keynes.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you just suddenly are like, oh my god, you've never seen a roundabout, have you? You don't understand how these work. You don't understand how... I'm just like, oh, this has become the driving podcast, but I'm not...
I almost got caught out the other day because I hate it when the first lane is suddenly left only, first exit only, like you can't
I
go
hate
straight
that.
over. Because the thing is, you're so used to, like for me, I always stay in the left-hand lane to go straight over. I very rarely, unless I can't get into the left lane, like I will always stay in the left lane to go straight over. And the other day when I was in Luton, it was suddenly like first lane is for left only, and I was like, fuck. fuck's sake. Thankfully, someone let me in, but I was like shitting it because I was going to join the motorway in the like wrong direction. I was just like, no.
It's the worst. I hate those moments where they just trick you at the end. They're like, by the way, you know how every other roundabout works? This one, for no good reason, just doesn't work like that.
Right. I don't know if this is like the most adult conversation.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was going to bring it back down and we could talk about the B movie.
Oh my god. I don't know why you find this so funny. I love the fact you find it funny, but also... Right, basically, I couldn't go to sleep. We just watched this absolutely diabolical movie where... it's called Savage, if it's from... it's fucking awful. It's got Blake
Apparently it's number
Lively.
9 on Netflix.
Yeah, I was screwed over. And so I was like, oh, Piers went to sleep or was about to go to sleep. I was like, oh, I want to watch something cheerful. So I put on the B movie and I was really getting into it. It was a vibe. It was happy and it was peaceful. Why do you find it so funny? If I said, oh, I watched Shrek, you wouldn't bat an eyelid.
It's okay. So here's the thing. It was like, it's the unexpected nature of what you said. Like, it was like, like I'm sat there wondering what it is you're gonna say. And you're, oh yeah, I watched this thing. And I'm like, okay, so you're gonna say like something I've never heard of or like some really intense film. And then out of nowhere you're just like, oh, so I watched a B movie last night. I'm like, are you expecting me to sit here and not burst into hysterics about this? Like, this is hilarious. I didn't even realize is the B movie actually on Netflix?
Yeah, apparently.
Oh my god. The B movie is on here? Flushed
Away. So
What?
I've watched Shark Tale and Flushed Away in the last couple of years, so I just was like, oh, I want to watch a film that I haven't watched in ages. The only thing that is a bit
Jackass 3.5 is on... What?
Yeah,
when did they add this shit
Jackasses
to Netflix?
You need to up your... I've watched, like, everything on Netflix.
Yeah, but normally Netflix is, like, garbage.
See,
ever since they've, like, gone at me for sharing my password to people, I've been like...
Oh, have you been caught for that? I know they've...
No, I've not been caught for it yet. They can get fucked.
Yeah, that is such a, like, they're so stingy. Spotify...
That's why they were like, oh, we're going to crack down on password sharing. And then they were like, oh my god, why are we losing so many customers? And I was like, could it be... No, surely, no. Do you think... No. Oh.
So funny.
Oh, no. Dickheads.
The thing is, like, if you have Netflix and Amazon Prime, it's quite good because you can just bounce between the two. Like, when one's shit, then you can just have a look at the other one. Fuck me. No, with the B movie, right? I don't actually... I need to watch the end of it because I haven't finished it, and I don't remember it from when I was a child.
The other thing is that you were there and you suddenly go, oh yeah, it's really good, isn't it? And I was just like, is this some kind of late review of the B movie of all things? It is good. The B movie, it's entertaining. I love it. It's a funny film. But
the only thing that gets me is like the bee starts falling in love with a human. Like, that's a bit weird. Like, it's a bit, I don't know. It's a bit weird. Pippin thinks so too, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, that's always confused me because I'm always like, okay, so if this is a romantic relationship, fine, but then how does that work?
Yeah.
You know?
You're falling in love with the people who are... Yeah, weird. Slightly weird.
That's what happens if you have an argument. What if it gets really heated and you're like, fuck you, I'm gonna drop the stinger in your arm. And then, like, you kill yourself and you're like...
That's some Romeo and Juliet shit going on
there.
That
is some Romeo and Juliet. Also, the ending of Romeo and Juliet is, just as we're going through the weird things, is one of the most catastrophically stupid situations I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
And clearly the two of them did not deserve to be together because, like, how can your reaction be, well, I'll just pretend that I've drunk poison. And then the guy turns up and he's like, oh, she's drunk. Well, the only conclusion here is for me to also drink poison. Or whatever, to kill myself. She wakes up. Oh, he's killed himself.
I'm
How
gonna kill him.
strange that, how curious that when I pretended to be dead, he also killed himself. Well, at this point, I must also kill myself. It's like, stop dying. But, really, like, you don't have to be so dramatic here. Wouldn't you just move on? We get heartbroken all the time. I get heartbroken every other week. I just move on with it. It's not true. I do not get heartbroken every other week.
Just stay heartbroken.
It's every 2 weeks.
Brilliant. No, it is it's stupid. Well, that's one of the things with Savage, actually. So, spoiler alert, if you're going to watch the film,
apparently it's a load of shit. I'm not going to watch that, to be honest.
Just skip the next... Yeah, skip the next bit where I tell you the spoiler.
Just go for about 2 minutes. We'll get through this.
Basically, one of the fake endings of the film is that the two guys get shot, and the girl's like, oh, he's gonna die, isn't he? Like, this other guy's got shot in the throat. And it's like, well, he's been shot in the throat. Obviously, he's gonna die.
Yeah, he's out. Man's out.
I don't really get how he hasn't already died. Like, immediately, if you get shot in the throat, it's like a 1 minute death kind of thing. And she's like, oh, I don't want to live without him. So then the other guy
shoots herself in the throat.
Pretty much. The other guy's been shot in the knees. I think he got shot in both his knees or something. He grabs like an adrenaline pen and stabs her with the adrenaline pen, and his mate with the adrenaline pen, and himself with the adrenaline pen, so that they all die together, and they're all like cuddling, and they're
like sharing a needle here as well. Come on now.
I think they're all separate ones because they've got their own dose of adrenaline, but basically they all like OD as they're all bleeding out anyway, so they all... But
this is one of the fake endings.
Yeah, yeah, it is fucking stupid.
I'm going to watch this film later.
Honestly, it's weird. Right, okay, now we're out of that.
I'm going to watch this film later because it sounds like a load of shit, to be honest with you. That sounds like a crappy film. Oh my god, there's so many people in it as well.
Exactly! It's like, it's a well-budgeted film.
Oh no.
That's why I thought I was safe.
Oh, that's very concerning.
That's
going to be a fun watch later on.
I said to Piers, I'm so bad at picking films, I bet you I could find the one film that Tom Hanks is bad in or something like that.
No,
like
you back the fuck up right now, please and thank you. I will not accept there's a film where Tom Hanks is. There probably is.
If there is, I would choose it because
if you
that's
find
my
it,
specialty.
never tell me about it. Never ever tell me about it. Which way shall I go here? We got to... Yeah, let's go for that one. I was just going to mention how we'd been to the cinema again.
Yes.
And it feels like whenever we go, like, as our group, the two of us end up next to the most Milton Keynes group of people to walk the earth. We went to see Doctor Strange. Is it Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, or
something like that? Yeah.
Strange in the Multiverse, whatever. All I can say is that there's like you have two options. If anyone ever goes to cinema of us, know this now. You have two options. If you want to nerd out hard, you go and sit with Piers.
Yeah, and Barbie.
They're the direction. That's the direction you should go because that will, you'll be fine. You'll be able to nerd out. If you want to have an experience where you're enjoying the film, but also there's just some dumb shit happening in real, like you don't really get, and it's kind of hilarious but odd and confusing, then you sit next to me and Kat. Because apparently we just have the fucking... I don't know. Do you remember much of the film?
I remember a lot of being thrown around.
Yeah. Well, I think what's happened is that my brain has I tried to remember the film. I was like, I definitely remember bits of it. But I remember more than anything, every time I kind of got comfortable being showered with water or like yeeted nearly off my seat, like... the guys next to us getting jump scared by the
So
very
funny.
simplest of things.
It was so like there was some really predictable jump scares, and like the directors know that we're gonna know it's about to happen, and you know it's just sort of that's just the way it goes. And these kids are still like, when I say kids, are like teenagers. They're still shitting themselves at every point. You know, you're like, bro.
And what's saying
You
is it's
should
like a
have seen this
chain
coming.
reaction because they shut themselves, which made us shut ourselves.
Yeah, because
Because
when
it's like-
someone screams next to you, you're like, that's pretty a fair response to actually, like, especially when you're getting water and punched and all sorts. Like, when someone screams next to you, fucking shit yourself.
I mean, we're sat there like every time it goes quiet, one of us just says something clearly inappropriate about something. I mean, what was the point? One point it went quiet and I said "stupid bitch."
Yeah, you did, and it was like it was so quiet, stupid bitch. I thought, oh my god. I almost dropped the C bomb at the start because I got
you nearly
soaked
dropped the C bomb 10 minutes in.
Because I got squirted with water as I like leant forward, so it just.
Yeah, we got soaked. There was lots of opportunities for us to. I mean, I think I lost count of the amount of times that I leant over to you and said, "I'm soaking wet now."
Yeah.
Which set you off, and then it was a whole thing, and there was the guys next to us were like, "What was it? What was it?"
I kept
he said
saying
at the end?
mandem.
Mandem. Oh my god! What was he like? He's like,
he said about lip singer. He's like,
lip sync.
Is he get? He better lips her now. It's just like,
I haven't heard anyone say that in so
there's
long.
something
like,
about hugging as well. He's like, oh, if he gives her a hug, then he's just a pussy.
yeah. Oh my god. What was the? Oh, it was like they're talking about someone falling through the ice, and this kid's just sat there. He goes, "Oh, that was stupid, wasn't it?"
Why would you stand on ice? That's stupid. Why would you fall through it? I don't think they meant to. I think
it's just the most like.
And yeah, you would like take the piss out of something they said, and then it would spur them on. Like they would just keep going. Honestly,
One experience.
It was.
I just
very
feel
funny.
like Piers and Barbie, they definitely didn't have that experience at their end. They were probably sat there really getting into the film.
Talking about theories and all sorts, and we're just there,
in-depth
like,
stuff. I leant into
ourselves.
you at one point. I was like, "So where are we now?" Yeah, it was a point where I was like, "So where actually are we now?" Because like I'd completely lost track of where we were, really losing it. So
I
if
wouldn't
anyone
watch
does
it
want to come
high
watch
if I were
film,
you.
sorry,
I wouldn't want to watch that high. Like, if
No.
you were tripping balls, that would
No.
fuck you up massively, especially in 4DX.
I don't know if I've ever told you about the time. The only times I've watched Inception have been by coincidence when I'm really, really tired. Like, it was one time. It was once when we were flying to. It was when we went to Kenya and we'd left. It was like an overnight flight. So obviously I'd like not slept in the day, and like at this point it was like 2 a.m. or something, and I couldn't sleep because there was some fucking. I don't even know, some noisy dickhead further down the plane. So I was like, oh, I need to watch something. I was like, oh, I'll watch Inception. But I really, really, really wasn't awake. And so the whole thing really confused the fuck out of me. Like, really, like, made... And that, like, it's not, like, the easiest to hold on to anyway, but I was really confused. And then the only other times I've watched it have been when I'm similarly tired. So a film that doesn't make any sense to me makes even less sense to me because I'm just like... What? No. I cannot deal with it. I don't remember why I started the sentence, but there you go.
It was confusing, to be fair, but like...
It wasn't that confusing. It's the kind of thing that if I watched normally, I'd be fine with. But because I was so tired, my brain just wouldn't process what was happening.
I get you.
It just wouldn't accept what was going on. And it was a complete disaster. I don't remember why I told you that story, but can I tell you about one more thing that's happened this week, by the way?
Hit me up.
Well, yes, no, not yesterday, because yesterday was Saturday. The day before that, which is Friday, I had an interview.
Oh, for your
For
promotion.
yeah, so I'm not gonna find out for a couple of weeks yet.
Oh
But
my
I'm not gonna lie
god.
to you.
Was it the 2 hour thing?
2 hour interview, yeah.
I can't believe I forgot to ask you yesterday.
God, man, it's tough. It was like there's something about like I don't even I cannot. You know when you're at uni and you have like we had some lectures at uni that went on for like 2 hours, but like
Yeah.
without a break.
Oh my god, they were the worst. You'd just be there like, I'm not taking in any information
You get
anymore.
through 45 minutes of it and you'd be like, this is fine.
Yeah.
And about the 45, 50-minute mark is where your concentration starts to slip because you're like, okay, I've really been following it up until now, but you're not, you're starting to lose it. You're starting to lose it a bit. And it just gets worse and worse and worse. And like, it ends up to the point where like, obviously I'm sat next to people like, like my friends and stuff. So we're sat there like pissing about at the end of it because it's like, I've no idea what's going on. There's no point me even trying to listen because my brain is not taking it in. And like during this interview, I was just like, I'm becoming more stupid as this goes on. Like the longer I was there, the more stupid I felt like I was being. And I was just like, I think I'm an idiot. I think it was just a bit of a weird one. I mean, I don't think it went that badly.
I think
I
interviews
think
normally
it
go
went
better than
okay.
you think.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I only remember the bits where I messed up now, which
yeah,
is
I think that's
quite
what
natural.
normally. Yeah.
But like, I just
Is it?
don't like the feeling of like the day before the interview. I ended up leaving work like a couple of hours early because I was like, I actually can't sit here and work in the office because my anxiety is going through the roof right now. It was crazy high, just
I'm
like
not surprised. It's such a tense situation.
because all I could think about was I was trying to do work, and all I could think about was, what if I mess up tomorrow? What if I mess up tomorrow? What if I mess? And the most stupid thing is, I still have a job even if I mess up this interview.
Yeah.
It's just I would quite like the promotion. um, but I think it was fine. It was just very stressful. I've never really liked interview situations.
I'm confident that you've done better than you think you did.
I think I've probably done better than I think I did. Whether it's enough to get it, I don't know. So
Oh well, I'm like feeling very hopeful for you. But if
I'm
it,
not gonna
you
lie
know,
to you. There's a point of it that was almost just like, it's done now,
yeah,
and I'm almost just glad it's done. But on a similar note, I've been meaning to ask you, and this might now, I don't know, but I remember maybe a couple of months ago, there was that job that you'd applied for at Universal, maybe,
yeah,
and like there
Universal.
was that whole thing, and like you weren't sure what was going on with it. Do you have any
Update, yeah. So I did the big girl thing. So I basically want to work in A&R, and obviously Universal is the biggest company to do it for. So
Yeah, they're Universal.
that's pretty
I hate
obvious
myself.
career choice.
Why did I
But
say that? They're
they
Universal. Fuck me.
they only have one position available, and because the company is like, the biggest
Huge.
in the world, it's kind of a bit stressful. But basically, I did the big girl thing, and I called them up because
Oh my god.
I called them up a few weeks ago now because I was sat there anxious thinking, they haven't told me anything. I don't know if the job's still there, if they filled it and they haven't updated me, like, because they said it they said the job would start in around 6 months after I initially applied.
Oh, that's a long process.
Yeah, but they said interviews would be in a few weeks, and it had been a couple of months at that point. So I was like, well, I just want to see what's going on. So I called them, and the recruiter that I spoke to wasn't the one that was dealing with that job specifically, but he said that the interviews take place early July, and the
Okay.
job starts at the end of July. So, yeah. So basically,
So you're not actually any the wiser on how it's going?
Nope, not at all. But I don't know. I'm just going to keep doing my tutoring work and stuff while I wait for it and then see what happens. But the other management team that I wanted to work for, they weren't taking on anyone at sort of entry level when I initially contacted them, but they said they're hopefully expanding at the end of the year. So if I don't get the job with Universal, I might be able to get in with them. So
okay, well that
I'm
sounds
not
quite good.
too worried, but yeah, I kind of just want to get started now. I want to be in my career, like,
Yeah, I get you.
yeah, basically. Oh, just for context as well, like, I might seem like really distracted / out of it, and Chris knows why, but I mean, we went to the cinema last night, got back very late, and then I had to double dose on my sleeping medication, so like I'm slightly out of it today, which
I mean, I think you're coming across very well, to be honest.
I feel like it might sound that way, but if you are watching on like YouTube, you'll probably look at me yawning about 1 billion times and like fiddling more than normal.
Well, if it's any consolation, I have also been messing about with stupid things. I keep dropping things and having to like reach down to pick them up, and I'm like, why can't I just stop and leave them alone? But I really can't. So
I feel you.
you're
I
not
feel
alone.
you.
You're not alone. That's all right.
I was just thinking, I don't know if it's too. Have you got anything else you want to talk about? Or
Oh, I just wanted you to know that you're great.
why?
Well, I don't know. I just felt like I hadn't given you the ick recently.
Stop doing that to me, man. I feel bad.
I just realized I hadn't done it. That's all. I was just saying.
Thanks, Boo.
It's alright.
I kept grab every time I got scared. Well, not scared. Every time I got jump scared is probably the right.
Jump scared by the people next to us.
Yeah, I kept
Or by water being yeeted at us.
Yeah, I grabbed hold of Chris. At one point, I grabbed him and I thought, I've just grabbed him so hard. I felt really bad.
Well, I was just like, oh, okay.
Abuse.
Yeah.
It was just so funny. I was like, oh, he won't mind. He'll get over it.
Well, I was just quite concerned. And then when we went to Weatherspoons afterwards, and like,
I was not doing too good there.
and you were looking kind of out. I was just like,
Don't
are you
pass
about
out.
to? Is this the end for you? Are you about to let's like collapse? Because I'm really not ready for that at the moment.
Basically, I was almost sick on the way to the cinema because I'd had an energy drink. I'd been painting the new flat. I'd put my sunscreen on and stuff, but I said sunscreen. Is that like the American? I put on sun cream, but still, you know, when the heat gets to you, I hadn't
Yeah.
really had enough water. I'd had an energy drink and hadn't really had any much food. I then got a bit car sick, so I felt ill before we got there. Then being hurled around in 4DX, it felt good at the time, but when you know when you get off a roller coaster and you still feel like you're on it, like, or if you're on a boat and then you get off a boat, you still feel like you're in the water.
Yeah.
I sort of had that going on, but I couldn't work out what was wrong, and you know when you can't place it, I just felt really. And then we got to the fresh air. I thought, oh, that'll sort me out, and then I was cold. Sorted
And
myself
then we were
out, and then I
cold
was
because it was fucking freezing.
so cold. Yeah, so it was just a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, the time I've had that weird experience is like, you know when you're walking down an escalator, but like it's not on.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's so trippy.
Oh man, there's one in. I went to H&M the other day, and there's one that like for some reason it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And like, so you step onto it, and the first step is fine because it's like flat, and the next one is like a slight step downwards. But I think your brain is telling you, "Oh, this is gonna, don't worry about it, stand still." And it's almost like you're falling, but like,
Yeah.
also you're not because your foot has literally hit the stair. It's very trippy and like confusing, and I feel like my brain is just there like, what are you doing? Fucking weird. Stop this.
I had that getting off the ladder yesterday. I was 2 steps up, but I thought I was 1 step up. So I
Oh no, that messes with you.
Yeah, I went to put my foot down and I sort of half fell because I was expecting my foot to be on the ground and it wasn't.
I love that.
Oh fuck! I just remembered the opening of a series of unfortunate events. It talks about that sickly feeling of like missing the last step or something.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
what you
trying to
mean.
find like the. Oh god, I'd see if I can find it at some other point 'cause it's kind of like a bit of effort. But yeah, it's basically summarizing that feeling of panic in that split second where you realize your foot is in the air instead of on the ground.
It's like walking up the stairs to your bedroom in the dark and thinking there's one more stair than there is. Your foot falls down through the air, and there's a sickly moment of dark surprise as you try to readjust the way you thought of things.
Yeah.
And then it goes on to like be like, because there are like
And it
someone that died.
summarizes the whole like series very well. Like the whole
Yeah,
book.
it's like this dark and curious feeling of falling that accompanies every great loss. And it's like, in a very weird way, like that was quite accurate, you know?
It does describe that feeling of like emptiness and panic, like when something
Yes.
goes wrong in life. It's just so beautiful. And they didn't include it in the film, that quote, I don't think. And
No.
I've watched some of the episodes of the Netflix series, but because I so loved the original films, it was just a bit hard to stomach. But yeah, I don't think they put that opening in either
No.
the film or the series, which is really upsetting because it's so good.
It's really good. And I actually like, it's like there's okay, so you're walking out of the room and there's one more stair. That's quite, the other thing is when you think there's one less stair than there is. So you go for it and you're like, fuck, oh.
You like thump your foot. Yeah, it's so
And like
such a weird
smash your
one.
toe into a stair and you're like, it's a different feeling because that's just pain. That's just pain, and you sat there thinking I'm an idiot. That's my addition to that one.
One of the
there you go.
worst things was in New Zealand, like I didn't wear shoes, like, and that was just sort of what you did when you were a kid. You just didn't wear shoes. I think you had to wear them if you were in the supermarket, but like, and you had to wear. There was such a weird rule where you were allowed to not wear shoes when you were on campus, but you had to wear your shoes through the school gates. So
you
everyone
could walk in your shoes to school and then immediately take them off.
Well, what I used to do was, well, I think all of us did. We would go to school barefooted, put our shoes on, or have our shoes ready to put on in case like we got caught, to walk through the school gates and then take them off again. Like, I think I just had mine in my hand, so if a teacher was there, I'd then put them on, but if a teacher wasn't there, I just wouldn't bother. It's the only time you can imagine not having a reasonable explanation for not knowing where your shoes are.
Yeah.
I think I explained that badly.
No, you didn't.
Did I word it right?
No, you did. The whole situation is just bizarre to me.
Yeah, and I think that was the issue I had with when you misjudged your step without shoes on, you literally would bust your toes open. That just...
Also, now I'm just thinking about feet and I don't like it.
Hobbit feet. You do get like proper leathery feet. And it's hot there as well. The tarmac's hot.
I think I have like troll feet or something. Ugh.
So funny.
Well, on that note, should we go on to the music?
Yeah, why not?
I feel ill, so if you could start this, that'd be great, because I'm... Oh.
Okay, so I might start with my favourite one of yours.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guess which one it is? I feel like you might not be able to guess.
No, actually I can't.
Okay, so Gratitude by Above and Beyond.
That one was your favourite one?
Yeah, which is probably like the least like my typical choice.
This was the one I was thinking you would be least into.
No, I loved it. And
well, that's messed up my mind.
I think it was within the first 5 seconds, the the vocals were so much like everything's, and I was like, am I being
Oh yeah, okay, I get you.
dumb? Is there some sort of connection there? But it's just a kind of similar vocal style. I mean, yeah. So that got me. And I guess the other thing was I wasn't expecting you to put in something so dance tracky, like almost EDM, but not. It's not like EDM. It's like I put transcendent music.
Yeah.
It's just it's just like I it makes me think of when I'm at a festival, and every now and again I'll walk into a sort of DJ tent, and there'll be music going on, and everyone's just vibing it. Everyone's like not on the same planet. Everyone's in their own little bubbles, and it's like a little moment of escapism. And you're not all, you know, when you have a band like Oasis, everyone's singing the same lyrics, everyone's sort of going through similar emotions. With this type of music, it's so open and in the air. Like everyone's having a complete different
Yeah.
train of thought, which I quite like. And the instrumental sort of towards the end is just banging. I just fucking love it. It just made me feel so content with life. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you sort of have
Well,
to say?
I put this in because I feel like people will never, they never expect that I like really like EDM, drum and bass, like trance, all this kind of stuff. I think people just would never expect that of me.
No.
They're like,
Yeah, no, that's a
so
fair
like, if someone listens to
assumption.
this, they were like, you've never listened to this in your life, and I love this kind of stuff. I really do.
It's
I
so
went
good.
to before COVID. Our
Those were the
friend
days.
Jessie and we went
Ah.
to in Manchester. There's I think they call it the Warehouse Project. Basically, it's
Oh
literally
yeah.
like a warehouse, and it's just like, you know, there's like fucking lasers everywhere. Like everyone is just there. Like it's almost like a bit of a rave, you know. Like,
That's where
and
they
I
did one
love
of the
it.
COVID.
I had a great time because it's like it is like you say, like you have this kind of weird out of body like feeling, like because we were there for hours, man. Like I don't know what time we got there. We must have got there like 7, 8 o'clock maybe, and like didn't leave until like 4 a.m. maybe, and like it's exhausting, but like you don't feel it when you're there because you're just like lost in the music and like completely on another level. And like I'd had a couple of drinks, but I wasn't really like out of it in that sense. But just the music and all in the atmosphere, it really like puts you in a different frame of mind. And it's like this weird out of
Yeah.
body kind of experience. I remember I was just like, this is amazing. This is like the best experience of it. This is so cool. Loved it. So yeah, I love this kind of music. It really I've listened to it for years. It's like my kind of, I don't know. It's like my not guilty pleasure. It's not guilty about it, but I just feel like I don't really normally talk about it.
No, but I'm glad you have, because
I enjoy it, but I wasn't sure. I put it in there just as a bit of a like, I'll share it because I love this. I love this kind of music. I think it's really, really like fun to listen to. And like you say, it does kind of, listening to it, it does leave you this sense of like being content almost. And it's a sweet song. Like lyrically, it's not as much to it. It's like I can let you read you the entire lyrics of the song. It's there are moments in the day where I just lose myself in sorrow and forget how the sky has been so much bluer and my life's just so much sweeter since we met. You make my day with what you say, a world of calm inside your arms, I hope you know. The love you bring, the song you sing, I overflow, I hope you know, I hope you know. My current mood is gratitude. And I'm like, oh, that's sweet.
yeah, that is sweet.
That's nice. Yeah, that's just nice. It's weird for me to just throw in a song that's like just a sweet kind of thing. It's not really much I can go for lyrically on it. Yeah, Above and Beyond are great. Generally, definitely go and check them out if anyone is into that kind of
I
music.
think it's
'Cause,
just like a nice combination of like soft vocals and then synths and stuff. It's just
yeah, there's
it
so many other
blends.
songs that I would gladly maybe I'll put them in the future. And like, yeah, okay, you know what, I'm gonna go with this one. I'm gonna go for Shapeshift by Jenna Doe.
Brilliant. This is the song that I've listened to the most. Like, it's probably one of the songs I've listened to the most this year, actually.
Right.
Yeah, what did you think about
Well,
it?
I'm going to take you through the experience that I had listening to it. Whereas, like, for the first kind of 60% of the song, I was just like, this is like quite emotional, kind of like, like trying to be someone who you're not. Like, you're feeling like you're like in competition for someone's love or something, and it's like,
Yeah.
she's sweet bubblegum cherry, and I'm salty, might make your gums bleed, and it's like, oh, that's sad. And then like, I would do anything if you want me to. Yeah, I'd shapeshift for you, and I was like, oh, that's really like sad, like to be in that situation where you feel like you have to change for someone to love you, or like you're in kind of like competition for it. And
Yeah.
so I'm re-listening to it, I'm into it. But then it gets a bit fucking psycho, doesn't it? Gets
Yeah,
a
it
bit fucking
does.
psycho in the
That's why
bridge.
I love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, I was entirely not expecting it. I was literally looking in a
Really?
mirror. I was looking in a mirror and I literally, this kept happening. I was just like looking at myself and I was like, what in God's name has happened? Let me just read to you the bridge, anyone who's listening. So I cut off her smile, yeah, I pulled out her teeth. If you liked it on her, would you like it sewn on me? Close your eyes, count to 3 for a surprise, please don't peek. My disguise so you like me. Please don't mind if it's a little bloody. And I was like, hang on a second. Did you kill another girl and literally pull out her... What? You can't... No! I was completely like...
Taken
just
aback.
sat there and I was like, where's this fucking psycho come from? But also, I
I
love it.
feel that. I embrace that. Like, I think it just summarizes. I always think your first love, like, is is an obsession. It's not actually love. I think your first, the person you get the most hurt by is the person that you've. It's a one-way relationship where you're completely obsessed and they don't care. They might care about you, but they don't care about you in the same way that you care about them. And I
They can
think,
never give you what you want from them.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if you see that they are drawn to somebody else, it's the idea that you would then start trying to be more like that person that they like, and obviously that's not gonna then make them like you or anything like that. And it's weird because I don't know why I love this song so much, because I don't relate to it at the, like, I'm in a happy, stable relationship, so this song is so good that it makes me feel like I've been hard done by in some sort of made up scenario, which is why I love it so much, because it's just, it makes you feel like you're going through something. I don't know, just...
The thing is, I think this is like, on the one hand, like you can't relate, and it's like, no, this is so like not me, like right now, whatever. But I think it's like you say, like that feeling of almost madness, like especially with like first love or anything, where you're like,
Yeah.
you're so in your mind in love with someone, and like you'll do anything for them to love you back.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost entirely believable that you'd end up going psycho and literally killing someone and being like, look, I'll be just like them if that's what you want. If is that what you want, is that what,
Yeah.
like desperation for someone to love you like that. Like, you almost can see it. Like, I'm not saying it so consequently I'm going psycho and I'm going to remove the teeth of my enemies and put, no. But like, we all, I think lots of us know that feeling. You're just being so in love with someone that, like, even if they're the most toxic person for you, I know that we definitely will both know that feeling of like being so into someone that you're like, I'll do anything, I'll literally do anything, I'll go anywhere, I'll be anyone. And like, obviously that's so unhealthy for you, like,
I think
to do
that's
that.
why I like the angry part of this song, because it's kind of equivalent to you being angry with yourself for ever feeling like you needed to be inauthentic. I don't know, like, that's probably...
No, I get it. I find it weirdly, like, on the one hand, I'm like, God, that's, like, psycho, but also relatable in a weird... It is, and I think I agree with you. It's like, even though I'm not feeling that way right now, I definitely was there, like, fuck, yeah, I do feel angry right now. I do feel angry, and, like, you're in that mindset, so when it gets to that bit where it's, like, more psycho, you're like, yeah, this seems like an appropriate solution to the problem. Yeah, this seems realistic at this point. Like, everything else has gone shit. Let's do that. Yeah, I'm with you. I really, it's I can see why you've been like listening to it for ages, because
I just can't help it. It's just, I think that her voice is so soft as well.
it reminded me a little bit of Katie Baser a little bit. Just at the start, I think. There was just something in that just reminded me of her, and then obviously it goes and takes.
I do have them in the same playlist, so yeah, that kind of makes sense.
It does, though. You know, very very quickly takes a different turn, but like there was something just in their voice at the beginning. I was like, oh, this is like kind of cool.
Yeah,
but it's a good song. It's a good song.
Shall I hit you up?
Yeah, go
on. Okay, I'll go with Sad Necessary. Is that what it's called? Sad Necessary by Milky Chance.
It was something that our friend Nathaniel showed me probably when we were in sixth form, actually.
Really?
I was like, oh, I'm really into this. And
he has such a good taste in music.
He has a great taste in music. And I heard this one the other day I don't even know what I was doing. I think I must have been watching something. It was in the background. But I was just like, I like the vibe to this.
Yeah.
I like this. I like where this is going. And I actually haven't listened to the original version.
Oh, really? Oh, no.
I've only listened to the acoustic. I said that.
Like, I haven't either. Yeah.
So, like, the original version might be very different, but I love I'm happy with it as it is, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I
just being a guitar and them singing. I'm like...
they've got such a textured, unique voice. It's just so grisly.
Yeah. And I've never realised before looking it up that the two of them are actually German. It's a duo, and they're both German. I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know why. It just does.
It's something in the way they sing it. They're like the pronunciation of kind of some words and the phrase. Like, it's not. You can also. It's like you can hear like English is not necessarily your first, and it's not. It's not because it's bad. It's fine. It's great. It's great. It's just like. It's sometimes I really like it when someone like. Because a lot of like when you listen to like English music, whatever, like. Lots of less so now actually, but like lots of English things for ages would basically like try and sound more American. Yeah. Especially in, like pop music and things. They just go for that, like everyone sound like you all seem to have the same voice, and that's not. So I like it when someone brings their own like flavour to it, their own accent or whatever. This is like, oh, I like this. But
it's one of those songs that can sort of just go past you because there's no like extreme structure. I don't know if that's the best way to explain. Like, there's not. It just sort of is easy listening. Essentially, that's what I'm trying to get across. I don't know why I was going to make that really complicated for no reason, but yeah, it's sort of like easy listening. The guitar is kind of sort of folky and relaxed in a way, which. It's quite a light feeling, and it like really contrasts the vocals because the vocals are quite gritty. They're still soft, but gritty. And then to have the little bits of guitar in, it just is a nice balance. They're just
when I was reading about the spectrum. That's actually apparently what they were just really going for, was that thing of like on the one hand, it's sad. It's a sad song, and it's like, you know, like. All I can do is follow the tears. You know, all the stuff. Can I blame you for this when heartbreakers came around? You shot my heart like a bullet all alone. Like, but also, if you're just listening to it, you almost like it is sad, and you can tell it's a sad song. But you want to dance.
Yeah.
And that's kind
Yeah,
of what they
like
say.
kind of
It's like that thing of
sway.
like you want to. You're sad, but also you're not sad, and it's like I don't know. I also just like that term, like sad necessary. I'm like, yeah, thing of like we kind of talked about it like last week of like we talk like there's lessons that you have to learn in life sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And you have to go through some shit sometimes to get to somewhere
Sad
better.
necessary. Oh yeah,
It's like necessary to have the shit time, even if you don't enjoy it. Like it's horrible, but it's necessary to be sad now, and then happy later. Again, I think we can both relate to that. Like having bad experiences in the past with various situations, but like where we are now is
It's made
definitely
it
a better
worth
place.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like it's not like you want it to happen. It's not like you're happy it happened, but it was necessary to have that, to have
I
this.
think that's why it's talking about like I think with boyfriends and girlfriends and anything in between, like it's sort of having a bad relationship sometimes makes you prepared for the good relationship. You know?
Yeah, it makes you realize what you won't accept, right?
Yeah.
It makes you
Yeah,
realize
exactly.
what you don't want, and what you do want
Exactly.
from a relationship.
I mean, and not just in a relationship context, there's like other, other things that you can relate it to, but that's probably the most simple way of sad necessary. Like it's the best example is saying, oh yeah, going through a bad relationship has taught you the lessons that you need for the good one.
Look at us, a little clever little brains.
That was good. Sad necessary. I'm gonna coin that
I
word.
like that. I like it as a word. It's a really good word, actually.
Yeah. Definitely.
I will hit you up with. Yeah, let's go with our good friend Split the Dealer, Hard to Take.
Beautiful.
What
So
a guy.
I put Split the Dealer into the playlist because
Also, can I just say we love you, Sam? Hi.
we love you. Yeah, you're a cool geezer.
What a guy.
I put him in because I'm actually going to his show
Yes.
on the 13th. So like next Friday. Is this getting released this Tuesday or next Tuesday?
Unsure.
Okay. Well, it's either a few days before the gig.
I think it could be. It will be 2 weeks from now because we're
Oh, we're block recording.
We're doing well.
Okay, so by the time this comes out, he would have had his headline show. Oh, that's very exciting. I'll let you know how it goes. Or I'll see you there if you are a podcast listener who's going to be there. That'd be so cool.
Well, you will have seen them. So
oh my god, yeah, this is so confusing. I was trying to think of a way of describing Sam's Split the Dealer's music to somebody who hadn't heard his music before, and I was thinking it's like Tom Grennan meets Nothing But Thieves. Does that sound like a
that's the one.
Because he's more rocky and rangy than like Tom Grennan, but then he's not as heavy and as extreme as Nothing But Thieves. He's like somewhere in between the two, which is just like a beautiful combination. He's got such a talented voice. Like he's got a nice rasp, but then the contrast of like a soft range, and he's got an awesome falsetto as well. It's just
I literally wrote down, one of my notes was just man's got range.
Yeah, he does. I really respect a guy who can sing really high because I can't do that shit. So I love it when a guy can. That's just great.
That's the thing, right? And it takes genuine skill to not just like virtually anyone can like make a noise in that kind of register, but it's being able to make a nice, to do it well is one of those things that takes effort.
Yeah.
You have to you have to get it right, and he really. I was just like, damn, like he fucking nailed it. I was like blown away.
It's just so cool. I don't know. I just think this is a song you can dance to. It's a song you can blast in your car. I don't have one bad thing to say about it. It's just vibes, you know?
No, it made me want to like really. I was listening to it again just while I was making a cup of tea before we started, and I was
Yeah.
just there like in the kitchen. I'm like, I'm really like, I was just like, it really made me want to dance and just like fucking go for it. There's so much energy in it.
His songs just make me happy. Like it's like a
Yeah,
positive experience every time. It's not very uplifting, and it's there's touches of like there's heavier elements in parts of the song, but it's still light, if that makes sense. Like it's
yeah,
still
I get
yeah.
it. It's
It's
weird
not
because
like
yeah, if
listening
you
to
look at
death
lyrics,
metal.
it's like because it's hard to take living in this limbo that I helped create. Even if I'm in here alone, I'm losing control, and you're like, oh god, oh man, that's quite in depth. That's like I've had those moments, you know, like those moments in your own head where you're like, fucking hell, like this is all going out of like you got no grip on anything. Everything's just happening. Um,
It's like being upset with the life that you've built and chose,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
which is
definitely.
which
And
is
I
hard
have
to
those.
take.
It is hard to take. I actually had
Sorry,
these
that was
moments when
I
I
couldn't
was
help
talking to
myself.
someone about coming back from work and stuff or whatever. And like there have been so many times when I like come home from work and I just sit in the car and I turn it off, like turn the car off, turn everything off, and I just sit there for like 5 minutes and I'm like, okay, peace. Just nothing for 5 minutes. Because it's like sometimes you go through the day and it's like I like my job. I really do. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with my career. All this stuff. But sometimes you're going through your day and you're just like everything seems to be a little bit outside of your control. And you're like,
Yeah,
how is this happening right now? Like I was so on top of this stuff. What's going on? And you're like really fucking losing it. And so you need that time sometimes just to be like, no, I'm gonna just like take a moment, take a little bit here to get on top of this because this is too much now. Um, yeah, it's yeah, that was just a bit there. So I definitely relate to that. But again, yeah, you can separate that out and actually you can just be into and like it's almost like it's hard to take, but also you're not gonna let it stop you. You know.
I get you.
I like that. I love Sam's music. He's sorry, split D. Keep calling him Sam, but I think that's fine. I think we can do that, right?
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like
I think his music is really great. I think he's definitely like. I'm glad that we found him when we did. I'm glad that you showed him to me when you did, because it's like I feel like we got in there early,
I
and like
think
he's gonna really blow up. What a bop!
yeah. So should I move on to a last track
Yeah, hit me
then?
with it.
So Fallacy Actually, Night Moves. Sorry. Fallacy Actually by Night Moves. I just started moving on before I'd even finished my own sentence. This track got me because this does not sound like it came out last year.
No.
It sounds like an old song with modern production.
Yeah.
It just threw me.
If I had to ask you for like a couple of people it reminded you of, who would you go for? Just out of curiosity.
I was desperately trying to work this one out. I don't know if like maybe Stereophonics, but
Mhm.
it's kind of not. Oh, I don't know. Like maybe like an early 2000s, 90s band, but I can't think who. What is there
No.
someone in your mind that
Well, there was a little part of me, not just a little part of me that just like again had like I say again, it's like last week, but like Alex Turner kind of like vibes to it
Oh,
a little
yeah,
bit. You
yeah,
know,
I can see that.
I could see that being a thing. It almost like I don't even like we were talking about Submarine last week. I've been thinking about Submarine. It's been going round and round my head. I was
Yeah,
like, I can't necessarily see this in Submarine as it is,
yeah,
but it's not far from being one of those songs.
I get you. Yeah,
You
no,
get
it's
me?
not. It's that sort of like old school
But it is a kind of
indie rock.
timeless as well. Like it could be like it almost feels like it could have been like a Beatles song. In a different life it could have been a Beatles song. It could have been like you almost like I can place it in lots of different places. It's one of those kind of timeless. This song feels like yeah, timeless and kind of difficult to actually nail down.
I get you. Yeah. No, like I was just trying to. It sounded so sort of familiar, not in like it sounds
Yeah.
exactly like another song, but it just sounded very comfortable. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that the right?
What I find really weird about it is it's like, it sounds so weird now after we just talking about that falling thing, but like the whole time it's like, it feels like you don't quite know when it's gonna end. You're like, when it starts, it's almost like you feel like you're in the middle of something suddenly, and then it's like, it just feels like it kind of like it could go around and around and around forever and not really ever. It reminds me, I saw this video once of like, it was like a scale going up, whatever,
Yeah.
and you think that it's this endlessly rising scale, and you actually, it reveals that actually it's like, it goes up to a point, loops back around, and like starts again, but you don't realize it.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
it's like you
Keeps
actually listen to
going.
the same thing over and again, but in your mind, it sounds as if it's just constantly happening. And this is like, I feel like it's constantly falling.
Yeah, I get that. I
But
know,
like,
like Super Mario's, like a lot of game tracks do that, where it just repeats and repeats, but it doesn't feel like it's repeating because it's
definitely,
clever.
I just love it. And like all the chords in it feel like they all work, obviously, but like you almost don't expect some of them. You're like, oh, I wasn't expecting this chord to follow on. That wasn't.
Yeah.
It's a bit like surreal. Surreal is the word I'm looking for, and like, just bizarre and strange. But I really love it. A friend showed it to me and they were like, I don't know if you'll like this, but it feels like the kind of thing you would like. And I was really vibing hard to it, you know?
I get you. It's weird. I'm sorry, I was just reading and they said that in their bio it says 3 high school friends, the shared interest in melding 70s rock with Americana, Minnesota's Night Moves emerged in 2010. Yeah.
That's pretty. Yeah, I can see that.
You know, you're like, oh yeah, that kind of makes more sense.
That makes a lot of sense. It's very like. And it really got stuck in my head, this song as well. I was just like. I had it going round and round. I was just like, this is. I just can't even put words onto it, you know?
I get you. It has a similar effect to Gratitude, but like in a
Yeah.
different way, like in a different genre. Oh, here we go.
Jesus fuck, what?
Wait, what is it? It'll be a cyclist or a horse. It's a horse. It's fine.
Ay.
Oh, we've got one more, haven't we? I was gonna say that this like our songs this week, they just all belong in completely different playlists. Like
They're all over the place, aren't they?
every single one belongs to. Oh, I guess maybe Shapeshifter and Ghosted My Therapist you could probably see on the same playlist, but all of the others are on completely different wavelengths.
Definitely. And the beautiful segue, by the way.
Yeah, did you like that?
Yeah, it was very good. Ghosted My Therapist by Rachel Bochner.
Yeah, that's how.
No, let me try that again. Hang on, let me just say Ghosted My Therapist by Rachel Bochner. Now, whether that's right
Beautiful.
or not, it sounds good enough for
It sounded professional. I was really excited to show you this song because I felt like you would love the lyrics of this. It's
I
just
did.
so. I mean, the whole song is about being 24, but it just applies to being 20 something and your life, like you're living through an existential crisis, but like everything's fine, you know? Everything's fine. There are good bits and there are hard bits, and everything is fine, and you're just about like getting through life.
Yeah.
That sounded
I
kind
get
of
you.
depressing.
I do. It's like, yeah, being 20s is confusing. I think before you get to your 20s, you think, I'm going to have it all worked out. I'm going to go into it and it's going. What you realise going through it is you know fucking nothing. Everything is so confusing and strange and like, because
and
you're
you
in
don't
that
have
weird
the money
thing.
to do.
Yeah.
Like they say, the 20s are the best years of your life, and it's like maybe a few years ago when you could actually afford to buy a house when you were in your 20s.
Yeah.
Then things might have been slightly different, because then you're still at that stage where you have minimal responsibilities and but I don't know, it just doesn't, between COVID and the housing market, like it just, the 20s are a hard time. Everyone's at such different stages of their life. Like,
That's the
you know,
thing.
some people are married with 2-3 kids, but you know, by this point, and others are backpacking around the world, and everyone's just such different levels. And yeah, I think everyone in their 20s could relate to this song.
Absolutely. And it's definitely like, I've had that thing of like, you almost feel like you don't have enough time to do everything that you need to do. So you're like constantly like when it said, "Oh, like stay up all night so I can binge a couple seasons."
Yeah,
It's like that thing of you really should sleep, but you feel like sleeping is somehow you're losing time by
wasting
sleeping.
time.
Because
Yeah.
like you've been, especially like if you've been like working all day on, like if you're at job or anything really, so you're doing stuff all day, whatever, and it all feels really important. And at the end of it, you're like, well, I really want to watch this thing. I really want to watch this thing on Netflix, but I should be sleeping. Ah,
Yeah.
fuck the sleep. I'll catch up on that another time. I'll watch this now. And like that thing of, so then it's like I slept forever, but I still can't seem to wake up. It's almost, it's like that thing
Oh
of
my God, that's
you
me
constantly
right
feel
now.
like you're like trying to stay on top of everything, and everything is just so outside of your control. And then you go onto Facebook or Twitter or whatever, Instagram, and you're like scrolling through, and someone who you knew a few years ago is now like getting married, or they've just bought a house, or they're gonna have a kid, and you're like, hang on, what? I'm. How have you found time to do that? I haven't even
Yeah.
done this thing. Like you know, like constantly like.
And even if you've got, so say you're like married with children and stuff,
Mm.
it might mean that you've done that, but then at the expense of, oh, okay, well, so you want a career, like you're then behind on that because you've got to try and work around the life that you've built. You know, it's just,
You're
that's a
constantly
whole
all
thing. It's
looking at each
just,
other, and you're all like, because you're all like these people who are in a similar kind of place, who have gone through and done different things after school, who are now in different places, and you're all looking at each other, and you're all like, oh,
help.
you're doing that, and that's really cool, and you're doing that, and that's really cool, and you're doing that, and that's really cool, and everyone, you're constantly comparing yourself to others, disappointed with what you've done, even if what you've done is great, because you're like, oh, but I could have had a kid, I could have got married, I could have bought a house, I could be backpacking around Asia, I could be a high flying career person. Like, you're always thinking, I could have done this, even if it's not necessarily what you wanted, but
I
it,
know with
it definitely like circles around us. It's very weird.
I know with applying to Universal and, you know, wanting to work in A&R and stuff, and, you know, the job I'm going for is an internship, and I'm
Mm.
thinking, okay, I'm 23 now, 24 at the end of the year. I'm probably getting to be a bit older to do, and like a bit old to do an internship. And you think, oh, am I going to be one of the older candidates? And you think,
Mm.
how could I be one of the older candidates? Because I've not had I've had enough chance to build up the experience I need
Mm.
to be able to get the job, but only just. If I was a few years younger, then I wouldn't be qualified to do the job. I don't, you know, and you know what I mean? Like, it's just so
It's constantly double
ah
thinking your own actions, but all of which seem they made perfect sense at the time. Everything you've
yeah.
done is logical to have done it at the time that you did it. But now you're looking back and you're like, what if? You know, like we were talking about it with my friend the other day, and we were like, do you ever regret not doing a master's? And there's a part of you that's like, I do a bit. Yeah, yeah, I do. Because that looked like it was quite fun. Because you see the fun side of things, obviously, and you're like, see stuff, and you're like, maybe I wish I'd done that
Really?
instead. Maybe I
I
wish
mean,
I'd done that instead. But like, for you, maybe it's the other way. Maybe you're like,
I enjoyed my masters, and I'm glad I did it, because I think during COVID, I wouldn't have been able to get the job I wanted.
yeah,
So it was the perfect use of my time, but it wasn't a fun year of my life. I wasn't living at uni. I wasn't going out and
mm.
doing stuff. We were
But
in
that's what I
lockdown
mean. That's
most
the
of the
thing of
year.
like,
It
we're all
wasn't
looking at what everyone else are doing, even if it's
exactly,
not
yeah.
the reality of it, even if it's not the truth. We're seeing the good side of what's happening on the stuff you share on social media. You don't share necessarily, well, I hate my life and I'm writing this essay and I didn't do any referencing and actually I just got told it was shit and so my end of year project sucks now. You just see the good stuff and you're like, oh, this person is able to go to these gigs, or like they're able to do this thing, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, and they're reading about stuff that sounds really interesting, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I want to do those things. I want to do those things too. You don't think about the obviously negative sides to every kind of situation where it's like you said, you're looking at someone who's married with kids, and on the one hand, like there's nothing to be ashamed of that. That's fine. That's absolutely cool. Like, but then they might have some regrets that they're not sharing because they're not going to be like, actually, maybe I wish I hadn't had this child at this age because I would rather have done this first. And it's like, it's not judging that they're, but like everyone will look back at their own experience and go, actually, it wasn't that good. But you present the best side of it to other people.
Of course you do, yeah.
And they will see that and think, should I have done that instead?
Yeah.
Even if you went back, you maybe wouldn't actually change a single thing.
Exactly. Yeah. She's very calm in her voice and nature, so it's not... I know we've just explained like this big panic of being in your 20s, but this song makes you feel good about that. Makes you feel like everyone's in the same boat, we're not alone. Like it's not a negative, oh my god, what the fuck am I doing with my life? It's not that. It's absolutely the opposite. It's, you know...
we've had a couple of those songs where it's like singing about something where it's like everything is chaos and shitty and insane and I don't understand what's going on, but it's almost like, like you're just singing about it and it's like, it sucks really, doesn't it? It's all a bit, so it's like that bit where it's graduated college and I want to quit my day job, writing songs don't pay my bills yet, at least I know my mum will listen, and then this little break and then love you mum, and it's just like and it cracks me up because it's like so like it's like the world is falling around, but also I guess you know that things are gonna be okay. You're gonna end up coming out of your 20s one way or another, and like things will probably be alright. Realistically, whatever path you've taken, things will probably be okay.
I just love the line, like, I take my meds with my iced coffee. Like, I just, it's so relatable. You're like, you're thinking, okay, I'm doing something that's good for me. I'm taking my medication, but I'm doing it with something that's bad for me.
No, I've done it before. I've taken my like sertraline in the morning. And like, for some reason I've had like a bottle of Coke on my desk. I've been like, well, I'll take it with the Coke, and then I'm like, this is clearly the wrong choice. This is not right. This is not a good idea. But like, you almost don't care. You're just like, well, I need to do the thing that's good for me. This is a means of doing the thing that's good for me. There's a bad bit in here as well, but let's not worry about that right now. Let's just finish the job.
I had this weird thing the other day where I just couldn't stop eating. I just like, I think it was, I don't know, something to do with me being on my period or something. I like my hormones have been a bit whack recently, and I kept getting up off the sofa and getting another snack, and I wasn't even hungry. I just like, I was completely full. I could feel that my body was like, didn't need food, and I just couldn't help it. I just kept going back and getting more. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have fruit. So then I'd have like a piece of fruit, and then I'd be like, okay, well, I've had the fruit, so now I'm gonna eat a packet of crisps. Or like, I had the the like low calorie rice cake crisps. I was like, oh, I'll have a packet of them, and I finished it, and I was like, oh, that wasn't satisfying. So then I got myself a packet of normal. If I just
there
got
you go, yeah, exactly.
Crisps,
You're like, that wasn't a real packet of crisps. That was just like fake crisps. Now I'll have some real ones, and it'll be fine.
Just, yeah.
Very much been there, and yeah, I feel that.
Just, and it's kind of like, sometimes we really need... I was thinking the other day about... Sorry, I keep changing my own thought process, but I was thinking back in the day, like caveman era.
Sorry, the caveman era has never been referred to as back in the day.
Back in the day. Well,
excellent.
Like, humans just spent their whole lives just surviving. You know? I don't know how much... Like, they weren't going to the cinema. They weren't like...
No.
I'm not an expert on these things, but in terms of just... life was just about surviving, and now we've got
Do you
a
think
way
life
of.
was easier for cavemen in their 20s?
I feel like they died in their 20s. But I mean, like, we spend so much. I was doing my food. I've decided that I'm gonna just try and meal plan as much as possible, mostly because it reduces so much food wastage. Like, I've found since I've been doing that, I throw out a lot less like manky food out the fridge, which is obviously
That's good.
a good thing. So I'm trying to stick with that, but it's so time consuming because you have to look at your calendar and you think, okay, I'm at a festival this day. I'm out the house at this hour. So you're planning and you're thinking, how is it this time consuming just planning what I'm going to eat and when I'm going to eat? And then I'm thinking, hang on a minute, I'm like thinking about, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a Thai curry on this night. Oh, I'm gonna have like Mexican chili this night. You just think, actually, I'm so privileged by the fact that I can choose what type of cuisine I'm having on what day. Like, why the fuck am I stressing that it's taken me a few hours to plan meals? It's quite a normal thing to do, but it feels like a waste of time because eating food is just something we take for granted, I guess. Like, it's just something we just have to do, so you don't think of it as a positive use of your time.
It's all relative though, right? Like, if you weren't, like, we know the importance of making sure that you eat a varied number of things, making sure you get your 5 a day in there, making sure you get this and that, making sure you do this, that, and the other. So, like, we take that into account, and it does mean that things take longer because you're going to be thinking about, oh, I can't just eat, whatever, beans on toast all the time.
Oh
You
my
know?
god, what a
Like,
meal.
I mean, you could. You definitely could. But, like, you know that that's not a good idea because whatever. Like, it's a caveman. I mean, it's not like you're sat there like going, right, so this mammoth has okay, how many calories is how many calories is in a rump steak from a mammoth? Can someone get the app? Get the app and let's, can you scan the barcode on this mammoth or something? No, that doesn't happen. You're like, it's almost like, this is food. This food will sustain me. I
trying
eat
to
food.
work out what's gonna. So I used to do a weekly shop, and now I'm doing it bi-weekly. And it's like, okay, what stuff needs to go in the freezer and what stuff needs to go in the fridge. I've just realised this
That's
is
the
probably
other
like
thing.
the most adult, like, again, probably boring conversation. Me thinking about, oh yeah, like, oh, I've got 3 days left of this before it goes off, and just. But
No, but it's real, and that's the same thing about being, again, like, you're in your 20s. This is another thing you think about, especially, like, you think we're in our 20s. Not only are we worried about all the existential shit about whether or not we made the right choice 5 years ago and whether or not that's going
if
to
I
lead
took
to
the
good
right
things in 5 years.
GCSEs.
Exactly. You're also worried about what the hell you're going to eat in the next couple of weeks, because even though, you know, you then have to go and make sure you buy the food and you store the food properly and you do the stuff for it, and, you know, like, and you know, do you have enough money to pay for that, and do you need to cut back on this? There's so many layers to that you just wouldn't have if it was like, if you could just go out and, like, it's like in that film yesterday, you know, but it was like, food is free in some universes, and
Oh
like,
yeah.
imagine if you could just like go and just get food and it didn't matter about the, like, immediately you feel so much less stressed out about it. But you know, like, there's so many different things going on. Yeah, it is fucking exhausting, and you
Yeah.
constantly wish that you could just not worry about it, but also you do have to. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like, it's not a waste of time because the end result is good. But there is a part of you that's like, okay, what if we just didn't worry about that and we went and looked at a clip on Facebook of a cat falling off a table or something? That would be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And it would be fun, but it wouldn't help you eat that week.
Nope.
God.
Yeah.
Are we adulting or not? I don't know if we're adulting or not, really.
Well, we've chatted about what roundabouts suck the most and meal planning. So I feel like
Yeah. Sorry, the magic of editing is that we could have this really boring discussion, which I actually quite enjoy. However, I can then listen to it, and if it gets too boring, gone.
Yeah, I feel like I started the whole podcast on a relatively like monotone vibe. I feel
I
like,
don't know if you did. I think you were fine.
okay.
You always
How-
you keep saying it, so you feel like you have no personality in these things, or like you sound monotone. I'm like, I don't think that's at all. I don't think that's all.
I guess when I do TikToks and stuff, because you're having to be charismatic for such a short amount of time,
Mm,
it's a very different form of media to then
mm.
like talking for 2 hours or 3 hours, whatever. Like you just you can't keep that energy up. You can't
No.
think about the phrasing of what you're gonna say
Plus, if I
on the
only pick
same
the bits
level.
where you're like really charismatic and energetic, it doesn't always necessarily like I might be sat here just like, yeah, uh-huh. And I look fucking dead to the world
Yeah.
because I've got no, and like sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes like we don't have much energy, but it's still like it's just so much more complicated. I could easily go through and find all the bits where you're like really going for it and like, but like
But then
sometimes
it
it's like,
wouldn't
well, that
be
doesn't make a good
authentic.
clip. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
this
I
wouldn't
get
be
that.
like no one just want. I don't just want to watch something of someone being energetic. I want it to also
Hyped.
have
Yeah,
yeah.
I
So
get
it's
that.
like you know like I feel like you're it's difficult when you're making the clips and shit to like find the right stuff because you don't want people to think that you're really like dull or that you're trying to find the right moments all the time. But like it's difficult. It is part of the thing of like I've taken something out of context and made something slightly different with it. So it's good, but also it doesn't necessarily show what actually was happening because if you listen to the 2 minutes before it and the 2 minutes after it, and what you might be like is, oh, actually she was in this frame of mind and she wasn't whatever. But I
I
don't
get
think
you.
you ever
I
actually
get
sound
you.
as monotone or whatever as you think you do.
Oh, that's good.
Not at all.
That's always a
As
positive.
someone who's listened to your voice on recordings
A
for
lot.
40 episodes now,
Jesus Christ.
I think this is number 40, by the way.
Oh my god. Woo. I was literally thinking earlier, because it's May, that means we've done the podcast a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
How crazy is
Any
that?
regrets yet? Any regrets?
I think partially the fact we record as well on a Sunday morning. So if there's ever a reason to be slightly dead, I feel like
It's a
we
Sunday
have
morning.
the perfect excuse. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's very real because I feel like I also sound the same if you talk to me on any morning of the week. And if you talk to me on any other morning of the week, I'm probably more miserable. So this is actually quite a win.
Whoop whoop.
Yeah. Anyway,
On that note.
yeah, I mean, we're doing quite well. I'm gonna jinx it now, but we're doing quite well, podcast recording wise. We're like ahead, you know.
Yeah, because I told Chris a few weeks ago, I was like, yeah, so festival season's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's going to be a little bit tricky because I'm not going to be here a huge amount. I mean, the thing is, a lot of the festivals are sort of Fridays and Saturdays. So it's just whether the festival is like, I mean, there are some on Sundays, but it's like whether.
But if we nail
how
this,
late.
we can get through the whole summer, not break the schedule, and even if you're like free on a Sunday, sometimes you can just like
Top up.
relax, you know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I feel like we could nail this if we basically
We could, don't jinx it.
As long as I don't get depressed, I think we're gonna nail this.
Well, that's fucked it.
Yeah, sorry.
Come
Even
on.
as I said it, I was like, why would you say that? Why would you? I can always feel the dark clouds coming in, you know.
All right, stereophonics.
Wow, there we go. That's the end, isn't it? That's really let's put a shitter on the end of it.
Well,
Anyway, it's
we
been
love
fun.
you
Thanks
guys.
for coming by.
Thank you for sticking around for episode 40. Oh, DM us what we should do for episode 50.
Oh God.
Also, keep an eye. I was going to say keep an eye on social medias for the thing we're doing in the following podcast, but this probably won't be
But
out
it'll
by
be
the
too
time
late.
we record.
It'll be too late.
My bad. We love you
You know,
guys. I'm
We love
sorry
you.
for
You're awesome,
disappointing
and
you.
we'll see you when we see you. Which for you is going to be a different time to when it's for us because of work and time, and so the passing of time is but fleeting, and we love you. So bye.
Bye.
I don't know what happened. I really fucking lost them.
I feel like you had a stroke. I'm not
I
gonna
had
lie.
literally had a stroke. Jesus Christ.